Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 2 versus 2 on Pointe du Hoc, and in this one I'm going to be playing with the 2nd Infantry. Jagdsource is on my team. He's going to be playing with the 7th Armoured, and on the Axis side today we have Falsche Prolet and Super Duper Maneuvers, who are playing with the 1st SS and the Festung Gross Paris. So 2 very strong divisions on the opposing side, but I guess we have a couple of very strong divisions as well, especially in the 7th Armoured. I actually don't rate the 2nd Infantry so highly. I think they are definitely like a 2nd tier division behind a lot of the other Allied divisions, but they are still pretty damn good and can put a lot of pressure on a map like Pointe du Hoc. So I'm hoping that that comes to fruition today. We will have to wait and see. Jagdsource is going to be placing some troops on the left side, and I'm going to be dealing with this town, which is actually a town I haven't had to deal with in a while. I don't think I've played Pointe du Hoc from this direction for a very long time, but this kind of brings back a lot of memories of off-map in the early days of Steel Division. This town would always have infantry piled into it, and then like it would just get off-map to death, and it was always great to see, but also it sometimes ended up the other way around and you were on the wrong side of that off map. Regardless, we should get down some troops and see what's up. I am tempted to start with an AT gun. I don't usually like to, but I think on this right side there's a good opportunity to like snipe up these roads from this tree line. I always remember that being a really good position if you can get the AT gun into the position in time, because generally you'll be just pulling up to the backside of this tree line as the troops come down here. So maybe we could deploy it a little further back. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like the aim time wouldn't be fast enough. Let's just go for an M4 and we will make a play with that instead. So I'll just stick that there. I will have some ranger supports go up with a ranger leader. The ranger supports can try and contest for this building. I might also have one go for this building. Although on the left side you're probably better off using ranger assaults, so I might do that instead. Let's take away that 2nd ranger support for the time being, just so I don't get confused with my orders. And I'll place probably just command behind the tree line. Actually, let's just put it on this side. That is fine. Apparently, it's too large for Jagdsource. Well, one thing we do need to do is make sure there's a unit in that building right in the middle. So let's go ahead and just put some rifles heading that direction. I don't know if Jagdsource has something going there, but if he doesn't, then at least I can cover it. There is a road that goes through here that needs to be covered. I think it goes all the way through like that. I might just go ahead and put some recon there with a unit of rifles. So the good old Ranger Marauders with their bazooka and the normal rifles. That's fine. Then we need to look at this road. That's the next road that's a problem usually. So that's going to be another Ranger Marauder. Can I use the road from here? This road goes across. I think it's just faster to use this road. So I'm going to deploy on this road. I say it brings back memory, but I cannot, for the life of me, remember everything about this map, because like Jagdsource says, there's a lot of detail to it, and it is rather large. And I guess we can just do the rifle combo again there. I guess the main problem with rifles is they do have the BAR that kind of reveals themselves. You can, of course, turn it off, but it's just awkward micro sometimes. The other thing is, do I want a mortar, for example? And I think like a 107mm mortar on, like early on, is not a bad idea. So we're going to do that. I think I'm also going to bring some Ranger Marauders to the right side. And yeah, we'll go from there. I think that's going to leave us 60 points. I could do with like maybe another rifle squad to help potentially gain more ground here. So we're going to put quite a lot of focus on that right side, spread ourselves across here. Let's just get that other rifle squad in there. I was contemplating not bringing it, but if I can bring it up into this position, it should still hold the front line. And then I am pretty much good to go, I think. If I need some command, I could bring in an M3 command. It could be a good idea actually to bring an M3 command on the right side with the M4. Just so that I have something that can stay with the M4 if I drive away from the command infantry. So, seems like a plan. Let's just tuck up these forces. Gonna have my M4 go first, just so it gets a little bit of a head start. The other units will inevitably overtake the M4, but just allowing the M4 to mind its own business moving forwards is always good. The other units can drive around it. I just want it to get into that position where it can potentially fire down the road sooner than later. Cool. In order to move your vehicles like this, if you guys don't know, you can just like, if you zoom in, just left click and hold, and you can just drag about units and make sure they're all lined up on the right side of the road, since that's where they drive. I mean, for the Americans, that's normal, but for Brits like me, we're used to driving on the left side of the road. But yeah, all of the units in Steel Division obviously drive on the right side of the road since they're in France. And what I would likely do is bring in an AT gun after the start of the game. If I see enemy armor sort of putting on pressure in points where I don't have the M4. The other thing that I do need to be a little bit careful of is the use of the Puma and the Stug 3s that the 1st SS have. So AT guns will be needed in order to take care of those, since an M4 will unlikely be good enough to do so. An M4 can take out a Puma, but it can't take out the Stug. It can if it gets close enough, but the Stug, if it's pointing in the right direction and it's microed properly, then you know, we should have problems. Just click launch battle in case everyone else has. No point in waiting longer than we have to. The deployments are always rather long when I'm doing my live gameplays. That's just going to get carried away with talking about what I'm going to put down. And also just in general, I think people do like to take the time to make sure they've got all of the units in the right places.
Ready to transport.
Off we go. The 107mm should be useful for if we come up against strong enemy infantry like the Biverons. If I want to break through the Biverons, I'm going to definitely need to use that mortar in order to pin them down. I can also use the M4 of course, but the M4 might be restricted by enemy AT or the Puma, whereas the mortar will not be. That's the useful part of having a mortar early on. We might have to worry about the Ju-87 in the early game that the 1st SS do get. So I might have to invest in a little bit of anti-air early on, but I don't have any, so I'd have to instead invest in the P-38 Lightnings.
Need a lift?
This division's actually pretty old. I probably need to update it again based on what is current. I have a lot of AT guns in this division. I'm not entirely sure that's the best idea. But either way, we will manage to get up to this building. By the looks of things, if I can click the right button, I can unload. And these guys, we want to make sure they don't die. Okay, that's good. Let's now focus on coming through the tree line here, and we will hit the Biverons. That's fine. Okay, let's move the rifles up here. Okay, we've melted the Biverons. That's good. We're going to surrender those. Nice. The Ranger Sports as well can also probably kill off the Landesschützen, and we're hitting them very hard with the M4. We're already doing a lot of damage. There's no Puma that I can see yet, so we might be able to get the better of this side. There is a Panzerschreck there, I think there was. I'm going to bring up maybe some more recon. I'm going to try and move these ones up. Let's move to the one side first, so that we're out of line of sight of the Landesschützen, so we don't take damage crossing across the open. And then we can just move straight up into them. And it's fine. Let's move the Ranger Assaults out of the way. Just get them behind this building, and then I can attack move into the building. These Ranger Marauders can move up. There goes the Panzerschreck that I was talking about. Let's bring the rifles across. These Ranger Marauders should have spotted something if it was there. Okay, I'm a little bit concerned about those tanks. But if I jump backwards and forwards here, I might just be able to take care of those guys. Because the Ranger supports would be in range to get the surrender. Yeah, okay, we're good. So we've got control of the town on the right side. We didn't invest too much in order to do so, which is fantastic. We should probably push up the M4 though. And I also should invest in the other M4, I think. Or an AT gun would probably be a more likely, or like a better choice. We'll get a couple of AT guns in. So let's bring this over to the left side. I need to make sure that's following there. I'm a little bit concerned about the Panzerschreck, so I'm going to try and kill it. They're going to fire position where the Ranger Marauders are. That's fine. I can just take them out of there. We'll move them to the next building. Hopefully they can just stay there for the time being. I'll have the Jeep sort of drive over here and try and take out the Landerschutzen. There's 2 Panzerjägers. Okay, that's what he's going to use. Let's try and avoid having my M3 command killed. I'm going to start mortaring those Panzerjägers. Let's move the Ranger Assaults over here to intercept the Panzerschreck. We need to be very careful with how I use this M4 because there's the potential that the Panzerjägers could always try and get involved. But if I get a couple of AT guns into a nice position, like for example here, then I should be okay. Also I can put one here. Yeah, that's a good idea. Good. Okay, those guys got surrendered while I wasn't looking. That's unfortunate. Oh well. The fellas in Gendarmerie and the Landerschutzen getting the better of me there. But we're getting into good positions, which is good. Come on. That's a 2-star in one gun. It's actually failed to kill so far, which is really savage. Come on. Can it miss anymore, I wonder? Who knows? Am I even in that building? I'm not. That's quite funny. Oh, Gendarmerie died. That's good. And we took out one of the Panzerjägers. Let's move this across. At least this AT gun's got line of sight onto here, which is good. Weapon jam. That's falling back. Okay, we got good chance to kill off a couple units here. So this is why I brought in these AT guns. It's very important that I have these AT guns. I'm going to move the M3 command over to give that one 2 stars. And then we will continue to press across. Actually, let's go this way. Actually, I don't think it really matters. Let's go to the right side. Nice Ranger Marauders there, getting the better of the Panzer 1. And we've also taken out the B2. So, good start. This left side's a little bit out of control, but we can maybe bring up something to take care of that. Oh wow, how did he manage to get his Panzerschreck past my Ranger Assaults? That's really savage. That sucks. We ended up trading there. I thought the Panzerschreck would have died because my Ranger Assaults sort of just swept that direction, but the Panzerschreck must have like avoided us somehow. It is unfortunate. Let's make sure that they stay out of the building for the time being, if I can select the right ones. Keep moving across here. I keep forgetting that Ranger Assaults don't have smoke, so you can't be that liberal with your placement of them. Let's move this command over to the left side, because this one's just going to chill over on this right side. And let's just have those come out of the building. Now, I don't want that to fire at the Panhard, so I'm going to keep going until I've got line of sight onto the Panzer 40. There we go. That's very important that it works out that way. There we go, that's job done. Bevelongs will be pinned down, hopefully by the Ranger supports. the ideal range for these ranger supports is these kinds of engagements where you attack in between the tree lines. It's just when things like this Panzer that get involved that you're in trouble.
He's burning. Let's go, guys.
Alright, let's make sure my ranger leader doesn't die. Again, no smoke on the ranger leader. A lot of these units just don't have smoke, which otherwise would have, which is kind of annoying. Okay, those should be dead. If they're not, I can just chase them down. That's fine. Get those guys back into that position. Oh, that's not good. Well, unless my M4 is getting involved, and the mortar might end up pinning down the Panzer 35. That would be quite something. Would you look at that? Oh, what a mortar strike. Okay, let's take that out. There's a Panzer 2 trying to come through here. Let's just go return fire for the time being. And I'll move that across to maybe take that out. Oh, let's just fire because it's in range. Cool. Once that's taken out. Now we need to have the AT gun move up. If I can get it into this position here. Could have line of sight. Actually, maybe I will have line of sight with the M4 briefly if I come this way. Not sure.
Second platoon ready, sir.
Well, on the left side, the exhaust has been doing work. So he's already made his opponent surrender. And honestly, I've done quite a lot of damage to my opponent already, so I would not be surprised to see him follow. But so far, so good.
Ready to blast some tanks, sir. Now let's hope Jerry won't catch us in the open. What's up, sir?
Let's maybe move up the Ranger assaults a little bit. Ranger support. Those Baverdongs, we'll just run them down. Good thing about the Ranger supports is they do have like the ability to keep firing on the move, so if you have pinned down a unit, there's no reason why you can't start running towards them if there's no other units in sight. So the next choke point that we're going to have to break through is this one. This road here with the two things is really hard to get through. As you can see, there's actually an AT gun there that I'm going to have to deal with. And I don't really have anything that's good for that. I can, however, move over the M4 to take out that AA. We will do that. Make sure that I'm hitting the AT gun. And we'll move the rifles into the tree line. Okay, we pinned down that. That's good. Okay, we took out the recon as well. Let's try and get him into cover. Okay, that's good. We can have the rifles move in there. And they can finish things off. Yeah, they'll probably kill both of those. Killed off the Flak 39. We should be able to maybe kill that. Unless he falls it back, which he's going to do. Okay, and now we need to make sure that our AT guns are coming up. And I'll have my command move up. One good thing about these M3 commands is they do have like great mobility. So you can really exploit that. These Ranger Marauders though, they need to do a runner. Get out of there. I did lose my rifle squad in the middle. I wasn't really paying attention to that. But what I am hoping here is that I can maybe take on this Puma, but it's going to require me like pinning it down. And I don't really have anything to do that. We can bring in a xylophone. Xylophones are always really fun. I think the xylophone's a really cool unit. So we'll try and use that on the Puma, and then I'll approach it aggressively with the M4 if the AT guns don't beat me to it. So if the xylophone comes in, I'll xylophone the Puma and then use the M4. If it doesn't come here in time and the AT guns come in first, then we'll use the AT guns instead. Right, let's move up this recon. There's no reason to have it that far back. We'll move up this guy. I'll have the command move up, which is all good. We do have a lot of points, but I was just saving it so I could really invest in a lot of these tanks in Phase B. I may as well bring in both of the 2-star M4s. Actually, saying that, I should probably bring in some AA, because the last thing we need is for a Ju-87 to come in. I mean, that would be the AI having to do that, but still, you never know. Best practice and all, right? Just one good thing that Super Duper Maneuver Boy has been doing is keeping up the pressure of basically making it seem as though he has more than he has, because As you may have noticed, I've killed a lot of his troops, but it doesn't really matter if he's able to kind of cut off the choke points, which he's been managing to do quite well with minimal units. Ranger Assault there, really good position. I put them in this hedgerow on purpose because I really wanted to make sure that if anything did come through, I could use the flamethrower at the ideal range. Oh, nice. Opal Blitz there, killing the unit straight after. Let's move forward to the M3 command again. I'm going to move forward to the supports as well. This is going to move up to the left. Maybe I can get a shot onto that Puma. This left side is slowly but surely getting surrounded. Looks like Yagsource is making a move on this area. All it's going to take really is just like one of my M4s to drive that direction, and then it should be job done. I guess the Staghound could also get the job done against those Panzer 35s. But with my AT gun in position, I probably just need more rifles here and maybe just some more anti-air. Yeah, okay. So there's going to be a xylophone, oh not xylophone, a Ju-188 brought in. I have a xylophone myself, which I need to probably use. I don't think that's necessarily the smartest idea since my AT guns are still there. Yeah. Well, there goes the Puma. And what I'm going to do is we're going to xylophone this point, which is exactly where he's trying to move forwards with his Pack 40. If I can pin down the Pack 40, I can actually go aggressive with the M15, because most likely the Panzerjäger behind it will also be pinned. Oh, we killed it. Okay, that's good. Perfect xylophone strike. I should probably have supply already in here because this 107mm mortar needs to be reloaded and hasn't for a while. Right, that's the Panzer Strike dead. That's a Stug 3. Hopefully my AT gun can have a good go. My M3 command needs to come back up here. Oh, the shooter wound, nice. Right, let's kill off this Panzer 35. This is why I fast moved it up this way. There we go, and we'll continue fast moving. Maybe we can pick off those other two units that are retreating, the Panhard and the Panzer 39. We're slowly but surely making ground. I just need to be very careful about this Panzerjäger. I don't want to get caught out in a two-prong engagement. So I'm just going to continue moving around this left side. I'm going to move the M4 in between those tree lines. We'll have the recon move up. And slowly but surely we are making a lot of ground here. I might also invest in Gabby just to shoot down these bombers. I'll bring in another P-47 just in case. Right, that's going to be the bombing strike going for the M1 gun. Hopefully it doesn't hit. Yeah, it failed, which is good. And Gabby gets the job done. Oh, we also managed to surrender that infantry. Good stuff. And it looks like Super Duper was not too happy about that. What a response. Respect.
I love it. So many positive waves.
Respect. Right, that's the positive mental attitude that you've got to have. I don't even know if that's the right way to put that, but there we go. Let's try and kill this AA. We should be able to take it out, yeah, in just a hit there. I do want to try and take out the AT, but I'm a little bit concerned pushing around the corner into a Stug. I think that's a really bad idea. Let's try and move this AT gun up. Maybe it can get line of sight onto the Panzerjäger on the way.
Ready to fire, sir.
And I always have the next shot from the xylophone, so there is that I can use. Maybe we can, yeah, we can use that on the Stug. Okay, yeah, we can go aggressive here, I think. Because the xylophone strike will come down at the same time. Lovely. Yeah, may as well pin it down if you can. Although it actually is going to retreat into the orchard. I didn't even know that that was open. That's cheeky. Okay, we'll have one of the M4s go to the right then. Let's have the rifles fight through the orchard. Since I do need to avoid this Pack 40, let's go back to the supply here. And what I'm probably going to do is pick up the mortar with the supply. I think we can do that. Let's do that instead. I'm pretty sure we can pick up with the supply. Yeah, we can. Okay, so let's move that forwards. And that can reload the xylophone at the same time. Brilliant. We got a quite good engagement range here for the rifles. The VulcanHDGaming have exactly the same amount of HE. Actually, 2 less. So yeah, we do have an advantage there. I thought the VulcanHDGaming had MG34s, but they don't.
Sir, yes, sir.
Otherwise, that would be well in the favour. We can also go for like Thunderbolt bombers here. I think that's probably a good idea. Because I can surrender those. Just like run towards them. Hopefully the bombs won't pin my rifles. We'll just wait a sec. And we should be good to go. Alright, now we can start running towards them.
I'm out of here. I want to go home.
Oh wow, he pinned me down with one shot. That is quite spectacular. The good old MG42 buzzsaw just instant pin. My infantry having none of that. Right, that's absolutely fine. Let's just keep that that pin down though. I need to just make sure that I'm hitting that with my mortar. And my xylophone should be reloaded soon, and we can maybe kill this Opal Blitz if it's gonna be a bit dodgy there. Okay. Not quite what I had planned, unfortunately. We're going to need some more infantry. I should have already had it on the way there, but that's fine. Let's have these guys continue to run up.
Yes, sir.
There's no reason to have these guys that far back either. Just been too focused on this far right side.
Sir, yes, sir.
Oh wow, did my mortar just kill the Stug 3?
Awaiting orders.
I think it did. That can happen, by the way, guys.
Roger.
Just saying.
On my way. Fighter ready.
Looks like Gabby should catch up there. Oh, never mind, it's the end of the game. So yeah, pretty solid game on the right side there. It was very sort of methodical breakthrough. Yaxos just apparently went balls to the walls and just broke through very fast indeed. 19 minutes and 45 seconds that took. Super duper maneuver boy, like I mentioned. Definitely made it difficult to keep pushing through the choke points. He had the right idea, but I think a lot of the engagements I had obviously set up in my favour, especially when I decided to move the M4 aggressively forwards, and the AT guns were just in position to get the job done. So pretty convincing victory. 1,555 kills to 2,305 losses. I mean, it's pretty decent. Ranger support's really good on that kind of scenario. The engagement range between the tree lines is perfect on Pointe du Hoc for a Ranger support. Ranger support's ideal. They actually match up to like MG42s and MG34s at max range. So that's something that you can really use those squads for. The M1 guns, though, they were really MVP. Brought them in at exactly the right time. If I'd brought them in early on, I think Super Duper might have invested in maybe the bombers early or some artillery or something that could have countered them. Whereas like not having them initially and then finding out that they don't have arty is a great way to take advantage of AT guns. Like that's why I don't particularly enjoy taking AT guns at the start, because if somebody has already bought the counter to it, then they die very quickly. Whereas if somebody's bought a counter to a tank, which would be an AT gun, then you don't have to like lose your tank to the AT gun unless you're silly. Whereas where artillery kind of can fire with impunity, you don't really have a chance to get your anti-tank gun out of there before it dies, and that's something that I think is important. The mortar 107mm did get the kill onto the Stug 3 with a direct hit, so there we go. You saw that happen. The rifles there doing really well, breaking through that tree line, taking out the Flak 39, the Pack 40, and the RAvaE. That was after the the Ranger support did most of the work. So there we go. Not too much else to say. Pretty cut and dry. Solid push through the right side of Pointe du Hoc. Really brought back a lot of memories, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the commentary about some of the units from the 2nd Infantry. I think we actually showed off the majority of the standout units of the 2nd Infantry, things like the Ranger supports and the Ranger units in general, like the Ranger Marauders. Also, like the use of the M1 guns in Phase A with the 1 star. If you make them 2 star, they're really strong. The M4 DDs are incredibly important in Phase A, one thing that makes the 2nd Infantry a very strong division. And Gabby here, along with the other Thunderbolts you can get, can do a lot of damage in the skies. So pretty much covered most of the stuff that makes the 2nd Infantry good. Also the 107mm mortar in Phase A. You can actually get 2 of them, which is really good. And the Xylophone. The Xylophone's a really nice unit. It does sometimes struggle to pin down units with higher armor values, but in general is really great for winning you engagements you otherwise wouldn't, by helping you start to pin a unit. So say if I had like my M4 going up against a Panther, for example, I might want to use the Xylophone to hit the Panther and then start attacking it with the Sherman, even if it wasn't completely pinned, because it's a lot less likely that the Panther's going to one-shot you if it's already panicked, even if it's not completely falling back. And that's always important to consider. You got to sometimes take those risks. But yeah, job done. Interesting game. Thanks to my opponents for playing. It is difficult to, get competent players, but these guys, I think, well, I don't know about Falsha Prolex, I didn't play against him, but the Super Duper Maneuver Buy certainly gave us a good go. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.